Welcome into our Great Day Washington Women's History Month special on WUSA 9+. I'm Kristen Bursett Harris.
And I'm Ellen Bryan. We are the host of Great Day Washington, and all month long we will be celebrating women who have contributed to our history, culture, and everyday rights as women.
And that's just what author Elizabeth Cobbs wrote about in her new book, Fearless Women, Feminist Patriots from Abigail Adams to Beyonce. Here's more from our conversation with her. In a recent Southern Poverty Law Center poll, 1 in 3 Americans expressed that they felt feminism has done more harm than good. But our next guest argues it's not necessarily the case. Elizabeth Cobbs is the author of the new book, Fearless Women, Feminist Patriots from Abigail Adams to Beyonce, and she joins us here now. So good to have you.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Congrats on the book.
Thank you.
You say, or you argue that feminism has been important since the Industrial Revolution, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we have this idea that feminism is kind of some oddball, newish movement, and actually it really explains all of American history, much of American history. We have this idea that Women's History Month is sort of like, you know, here's the main dish and then let's have some peas on the side or something, you know, it's like pairs well with the rest. But really, you know, things like universal education, that comes out of the kinds of things that Abigail Adams was, you know, promoting. And so the fact that we have an industrial revolution, the fact that we're able to abolish slavery, the creation of a social safety net, those were all things that, of all things, feminists were really involved in. And so I just love the idea of restoring our story to us.
I love that.
How did you choose who to profile in the book? There would be so many women. But you went, I mean, you talk about Abigail Adams. She was one of the first women you chose to profile?
Yeah, so each chapter has somebody I call the face of feminism, and somebody is the sort of why we care. Because I think there's this idea sometimes that people are complaining about, you know, kind of trivial things. And actually, unless you understand what we didn't have, you can't understand why it was so wonderful that we made the changes we did. The fact that the 3 of us are sitting here today, women were not allowed to speak in public in front of men. Women could not, you know, go out in public really in any sort of free kind of way. And so these were all things that each chapter shows you how we got there. So for example, the person, the Why We Care woman in the one of the early chapters is Harriet Jacobs, who is America's Anne Frank. She was an enslaved woman who hid in a teeny tiny garret for 7 years to save her children and to also avoid being sexually assaulted by the man who claimed to own her. And so each story is just this, you know, magical almost description of the sorts of things that, again, we take for granted and we think are, you know, somehow automatic, and they were never automatic. The right to go to high school, that's what Abigail Adams fought for.
And you have ladies like her, but then modern feminists as well, like Beyonce.
Oh yeah, so so it was so fun to do Beyonce because that's a situation where sometimes people think, well, so how does she rate as a feminist? And yet, you know, here's a person who in her own personal life and in her music has put forward a message of body positivity, a message of female independence, of equality between men and women, and, you know, even bared her soul in some pretty hard ways, talking about her husband and their efforts to, you know, to be more equal because of his infidelity. And so it's just very meaningful. It's just very moving. By the way, I'm a novelist too, although this is not a novel. This is pure straight up history. But I love telling the stories that really move your heart.
You've mentioned the word feminist many times. Some people are like shying away from that word right now. What do you think of that?
Completely. Well, you know, I think of this, I call it feminist baiting. It's sort of like, it's a way to kind of keep women in a box. Like, well, you're only going to complain if you're a feminist. And actually, you know what? I love the definition that First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt gave, who basically said a feminist is somebody who believes that women and men deserve the equal rights and opportunity and dignity. So it's something that's really old in our history, but we've allowed it to become kind of tarnished.
Right.
There's so much knowledge. I can tell that you have to tell us. I need more.
I have so many stories we want to hear from you, but congrats and thank you for bringing this to all of us.
No, thank you.
Now turning to outside the U.S. for a look at where women are thriving.
For the past 13 years, Iceland has topped the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Index, which in other words means it's the best place in the world for women to live.
And here's why. Equal pay, paid paternal leave for both parents, and subsidized childcare. Iceland really supports working women, and they have a fabulous First Lady, too.
That's right. We got to sit down with the First Lady of Iceland, Eliza Reid, to chat about her new book, Spraker, which means Outstanding Women. We're honored to host her here during her visit to the nation's capital. First Lady of Iceland, Eliza Reid. We're so good to have you.
Amazing to have you.
Thank you for saying that. I want to say it correctly. So
It's excellent. It's excellent. It's a word I want to introduce to English because it means outstanding women, and we don't have any words like that in English.
Spraker.
Spraker.
That's an Icelandic.
It's Icelandic for outstanding women.
Wow. Okay, we like
we
that.
need to put that up in our office.
Yes. Are you traveling with the exhibit as it travels, or is it special that you've come to D.C.?
I often come, then I'll be in a few other cities throughout the year here as well because I have so much fun talking about Iceland here.
bet.
So
A great
I think it's great to
ambassador.
get to attend and talk
What
about
is it? What is like Icelandic food? How would you describe that?
So we're really have pure, clean, fresh food. So our lamb is some of the best in the world because it's all free range. So the sheep are just let out in nature over the summer and then collected again in the fall. So there's no chemicals involved or anything. Obviously, we're an island in the North Atlantic, so we have amazing seafood and fish, and we have excellent clean water and wonderful dairy products, and it's really healthy things. And a curious fun fact for you, apparently we have the world's largest vegan store in Reykjavik. So we actually, if you don't eat meat or fish, we can also help you out.
right here.
Right? There you go.
Thank you. I was wondering that when you said lamb, I'm like, maybe I want to enjoy
No.
the food.
We've made strides and leaps and bounds
Yeah.
when it comes to non-meat and plant-based foods.
That's amazing. Where you don't need to make any strides is for women in Iceland. It's like that stat at the beginning. I'm like, tell us, how do you do this? And you wrote a whole book about it, right? That's what your new book's about?
Yeah, so for 13 years, Iceland has topped the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Index, which colloquially means it's the best place for women in the world. Although we like to say we're not there yet, it's not perfect. But it means that it's a great place for working mothers. We have a really high participation rate of women in the workforce because we have government paid parental leave policies for both parents. So fathers as well are taking parental leave, and then excellent quality subsidized childcare. And then that goes through to lots of other facets of society, from laws mandating equal pay for equal work to, I just really summarize it to say that we've kind of passed the tipping point of debating whether trying to achieve gender equality is something important, but how we're going to get there. And that's because we know that gender equality isn't something for women that makes it better. It's something that makes society better overall. So societies that are more gender equal, they have longer living, happier, more peaceful populations. So it's win-win for everybody.
Well, and obviously you've have some amazing women over there that are doing great things that you highlight in the book. Why did you decide to write this, and who did you focus on?
Well, I wrote this book, so you may hear from my accent. I grew up in Canada, in a different country, and I wanted to really write a love letter to my adopted homeland to explore what it's like to be a woman in the world's best country for women. And I spoke to almost 40 different women who I hope are kind of regular people that we can all relate to, from journalists to politicians and a soccer star and a rap group and a comedian and a sex therapist and just all kinds of different people to really explore different facets of society. And I hope that people will learn something new about Iceland from it and different phrases in history, but they'll also be inspired to know that we can all make a difference in this and we can all be role models in our communities.
Love it. Thank you.
Hopefully
It
you'll
is an
see us in
honor
your
to have
country
you.
sometime
Yes,
soon.
you would be
It's
welcome.
both on our bucket
We're
list.
asking about travel any time of the year is good.
Absolutely.
It sounds like.
Anytime, Northern Lights, hot springs, nature, great food, fun people. You got it
Awesome.
all.
Thank you so much for being here. The arts is a space where women have always been creators, but haven't always been key decision makers.
There has been a lot of progress in the music industry. You can see the powerhouse women like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Rihanna. But what about local female artists?
Next, we will hear how the musicianship right here in D.C. is helping lift up local creators and how important women are in the music industry.
We're joined by two trailblazing ladies who work to lift up female artists and help bring together the local music community. Maimouna Youssef, also known as Moo Fresh, is a featured performer who will also be honored at the WAMI Music Awards. And Nina Goodman, who is a member of the 2023 WAMI Advisory Committee. Ladies, so great to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having
All right,
me.
Moo, you have performed all over the globe.
Right.
Yeah. But back here in DC to be honored at the WAMI Awards, how excited are you?
Oh man, it's a huge honor. I'm super, super excited to be honored in your hometown. You know, it's always the best. It's always the best because this is where, you know, I got my start in my old stomping ground, like, you know, where I learned to be a great artist, you know, so it's a huge privilege and a blessing.
It's like full circle. You can see
Yeah.
that in your career. Like, I made it to this moment.
Yep,
Gotta
yep.
say
It's
something.
awesome.
Yeah. Nina, you're on stage with many of the local artists who will be featured at the WAMI Awards. What is it about this event that you love seeing that talent be showcased here in the DMV?
This event is everything. It's like our Grammys for DC.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun. People get so dressed up. They look fly. They are completely bringing it. But the Whammies are just, it's an incredible event, and the musicianship behind the Whammies is just an incredible organization. And it really allows us to showcase the artists in DC who, I mean, are tremendous. So we're very lucky to have this.
Moo, and you're from starting here in DC to your global stardom now, but what have you seen that are still challenges for females in the music industry? Oh,
How much time do we have?
Gatekeeping, you know, we're still a commodity that's based off of our bodies more than our minds and our talents. You know, we're still trying to get past that hurdle. I mean, I feel we're making great strides. You know, I like to try to look at the progress, you know, that we're making, but it's you know, it's a challenge, but we're showing up for the challenge all the time, and we are opening doors for the next generation to not have as many challenges as we had. So
as women do.
as we do, in every field.
Yeah.
In every field. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, we'll keep pushing. That's what this
Yeah.
month's for,
I
right?
love it.
To
I know.
really inspire
We need to
so
celebrate.
many.
Continue to celebrate.
Yeah. Nina, what do you think of the local artist here too? I always think, you know, obviously we think go-go, right? What type of music?
All types of music, and there's so many women, non-binary, trans, gender queer artists who are making such strides in this community, and all genre. I mean, you know, I'm sitting next to like this premier amazing artist right here. I could think of, you know, there's like this punk band Echo Astral who just came out, all you know, gender queer artists, and Dior Ashley Brown is someone who's won Whammies
Dior
before.
Ashley Brown,
You
yes.
know, who like puts on the DC Music Summit, who are just making great strides in the community. And you know, I think about, there's the artists, but there's also all these women who own these incredible music venues, from Pie Shop, Slash Run, The Runaway, Spacey Cloud, all women owned and run, and just incredible places to see live local music. Audio engineers who are women,
behind the
at
scenes.
Black Cat, behind the scenes, even the folks who I'm working with at the Whammies, like these incredible women who are just making great strides. So I'm really encouraged by what I see here, and I just
Great.
Well, and I know we want people to enjoy the Whammies and the celebration. I know the show is sold out, but there's a whole Whammies week, right? We can do all sorts of fun things.
Yes.
What can we expect?
So Whammies week leading up to it, there's a panel discussion, an industry panel discussion. There's a documentary film that's about the first studio in DC. There's a lot going on that's open to the public. You do have to sign up for that. So I would recommend people go to the website, whammiesdc.org, and look into that now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So much going on.
Yeah. It's just honor to have you both here.
know. Thank
Looking fabulous.
Moo, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Health is wealth. It's a common saying, but it rings especially true when you're a woman trying to take care of a family.
And up next, we see how a working mom of two has spurred her passion for health into a successful nutrition business.
Here is registered dietitian Jamie Martinez from Nutrition CPR with a look at which foods benefit the body parts that they look like.
Food is the most powerful medicine in our arsenal to prevent chronic disease and to promote optimal health.
And did you know that certain foods resembling our body parts can have a nutrient makeup which actually benefits the very part they resemble?
So here to share just some of those foods is registered dietitian and owner of Nutrition CPR, Jamie Martinez. Welcome.
Thank you for having me back. I'm so excited to be here.
This is really fun because we were trying to guess what the body parts were. I think we're wrong on many of them.
off on some.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. It's fascinating how they can really promote the health of that body part.
Right.
So
Yeah.
let's start with the carrot. When you
Okay.
cut the carrot, the coin of the carrot really looks like the eye. So the rings of the carrot are like the iris and the pupil.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Carrots are associated with eye health. There are two powerful antioxidants. One is lutein, that promotes decreasing risk of age-related macular degeneration. And the second is beta-carotene, which gives the carrot its bright orange color. Beta-carotene is converted to vitamin A, and vitamin A deficiency is linked to night blindness.
Oh, interesting.
So
So you hear people going through a lot.
Exactly. So there's two benefits of eye health. The benefit here, though, is you want to cook the carrot. Beta-carotene is better absorbed when cooked, so a little opposite than most vegetables.
I always just eat them raw, yeah.
Right, you'll still get a benefit.
Right.
And vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, so you actually want to cook it in a healthy fat like olive oil or butter to promote the
just steam
absorption
it.
better. Exactly.
Okay.
So next up is the walnut. So the walnut is linked to brain health. It looks like the brain a
Yeah,
lot.
it does.
It really does. So it's packed with antioxidants, but on top of that, the walnut also has a healthy fat called omega-3s. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. Head to toe benefit in the body, but with brain health, you can improve your cognitive function, your mood, and your memory.
And you just
need that.
just eat them.
Just eat the
Just eat
walnut,
'em.
pop them into salads, whatever you want.
Can I
So,
tell you
yeah.
what Kristen thought the tomato was? Your derriere.
It's like, ooh, I need some help with that
Are we
department.
correct?
You are not correct. So it probably has
like
a
a
benefit there too, but it is in fact the human heart.
Oh,
And
that
even the
makes so much more
chambers of the heart, when you cut the tomato,
true.
that's why I have it open cut. So there's a particular nutrient in the tomato called lycopene. It gives it its bright red color. Lycopene is associated with decreasing cardiovascular risk. So it improves your cholesterol, particularly your bad cholesterol. It improves blood pressure, and it lowers your risk of having a stroke and heart attack.
If it's in like a tomato sauce on pizza, is that okay?
You absolutely
Oh, good.
still get the benefit.
good.
It's most rich in the skin of the tomato,
Right.
but tomato products, so salsa, ketchup even.
Okay.
You'll get the benefit
This
of
is the best
cardiovascular.
news of the day.
Yeah. So ginger looks like the stomach, the bulb of the stomach. Ginger is considered a medicinal food, so helps with digestion, helps with alleviating stomach discomfort, used for nausea. It's a natural remedy. Pregnancy, early morning
I've
sickness.
been eating a lot of
Exactly.
ginger.
So
Ginger
funny,
pops.
you think about ginger for your belly all the time, but never thought to actually like,
And fresh ginger is the
makes
way to
sense.
go, not artificial ginger,
okay.
right? So cook
Yeah.
with it, fresh ginger ale.
Okay.
All right, so this one's easy because the name is in
Yeah.
the actual bean. So
Yeah.
kidney beans, because of their protein and their fiber and their nutrition, actually help the kidney do its job, which is remove waste and toxins. There are B vitamins in the kidney bean also that help with the urinary tract health, and those two systems are connected. So you get two bangs for your buck, so to speak, with
Yeah.
kidney beans.
Wow.
Okay, so our fertility food, which is avocado.
Don't need that.
Our adorable avocado is upside down though on purpose because it looks like the uterus.
Oh, interesting.
never knew that about avocado.
So avocados have healthy fats in them.
Right.
They also have fat-soluble nutrients, promotes the lining of the uterus, so the health of the lining of the uterus. It also is super rich in potassium, even more so than bananas. And the potassium in avocados balances estrogen levels, so reduces risk of something like endometriosis, which is a complication of the uterus.
Is that why celebrities eat avocados when they're pregnant? Ah.
But here's the great thing,
Yeah.
it's not just for women. So it is a fertility food for men. It boosts sperm production, it boosts the motility of sperm, and boosts testosterone production.
Wow.
No idea.
Yeah.
Powerful
We should talk about
little
that
fruit
more.
there.
So the onion looks like the billions of cells that we have in the human body.
Oh.
It has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compounds that basically promotes the health of the cell. So no damage to the cell, which causes health complications. Additionally, there will be vitamins in it that are associated with red blood cell production and nerve cell production.
And real quick, the
The
wine.
wine,
Yeah.
looks like blood. It's a blood thinner.
That's
so
a
it
good thing,
has,
right?
it's a good thing.
Celebrate,
It
you have
has
it out here.
resveratrol in it, decreases cardiovascular risk again. One thing to keep in mind, more is not better.
Yeah,
right?
it's
So drink
true.
in moderation
A
and
little
drink
bit.
responsibly.
Oh, so informational. Thank you so much.
No
if you
problem.
found this as interesting as we did and you want to know more, you can check Jamie out at nutritioncpr.com. We hope we inspired you with just some of our Women's History Month features on our Great Day Washington Women's History Month special.
And we will continue to bring you stories of amazing women this month on WUSA 9 and right here on WUSA 9 Plus.